Hello, and welcome to the first Write With Me activity time, which is based on the bonus sections of the Professor's Week in Review, a journal for weekly reflections on the higher ed experience. I'm thrilled to have you here today as we delve into an incredibly fascinating activity. I'd like to jump right into this session, so please grab a sheet of paper or your device. Now, there's one guideline that you must promise to follow for this first session, and that is the internet may not be used during our time together for ideas or info. You may only write exactly what comes to mind. Agreed? All right. Here we go. Complete this sentence in the next 30 seconds. Hope is Now, let's see if your response matches any of these. A feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen. A desire accompanied by expectation of or belief in fulfillment. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but both of these definitions include the term expectation. So you know me, I had to look it up as well. Expectation is a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. Let me say that one more time so they can sink in. Expectation is a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. Well, today's session is entitled Using Positive Expectations to Produce a Rewarding Semester. Therefore, today's activity is designed to help us do just that. But before the fun begins, I am Dr. Kelly Alston, creator of the Professor's Week in Review, which I call the WIRE, which stands for Week in Review, Journal for short. And I would like to invite you to order your copy of this incredible tool that I created to guide you in making deep reflection a part of your journey through the world of academia. You will be amazed by how much a consistent commitment to journaling will amplify your personal and professional growth. So please head over to bit.ly, the Wire Journal, or bit.ly, the Fillable Wire, to seize your copy today. You may also click on the links in the description for easy access. Oh, and please go ahead and hit the thumbs up and the share button right now so that others can be notified and join us. Now that we have defined hope, let me ask you a personal question. How is your hope meter on a scale of 1 to 10? With 10 being, I am consumed with hope, and 1 being, I have no hope left in me. Feel free to share your response in the chat if you're here with me during this premiere, or leave it in the comments if you're watching after this session. You are in the no judgment zone, So however you are feeling is perfectly okay. I want you to keep that number in mind. And at the end of this session, I'm going to ask you to rate your hope again. And guess what? I predict that your score will rise, even if it's just a little bit. I enjoyed today's activity so much because it provides a strategy for strengthening that hope muscle. I know it's not really a muscle, but you get where I'm going. When I was growing up, Reverend Jesse Jackson's campaign slogan was, "Keep hope alive." And at a very young age, I memorized Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. But I don't ever recall being taught how to strengthen my hope. Now don't worry, I am not going to give you an in-depth lesson on that. But I do think it is important for you to know the role that hope plays in helping you navigate successfully through academia, one semester at a time. First, it is important for you to understand how very powerful your mind is. One of my favorite authors, Dr. Joseph Murphy, puts it this way: every thought felt as true or allowed to be accepted as true by your conscious mind takes root in your subconscious mind, blossoms sooner or later into act, and bears its own fruit of opportunity and experience. So let me share a personal application of this. Over the past decade in higher ed, I have noticed a rapid decline in the caliber of college students. In fact, the spring 2023 semester highlighted problematic behaviors and apathy tremendously. Instead of letting the condition of those students consume me, I chose to be inspired by the handful of students who really wanted to learn and apply themselves. As a result, I continued to teach and serve with excellence. I understood how the reticular activating system in the brain works. It filters irrelevant information and highlights what is important to us. So, if I had focused on the toxic students constantly, or should I say the students who were exhibiting toxic behavior constantly, I would have become more attuned to toxicity and would have failed to notice the students who truly made teaching worthwhile. Are you familiar with the reticular activating system? It is often explained this way. Think about an automobile you desire, or maybe the one you just bought or that you have right now. Do you notice that automobile everywhere you go? Do you see it more and more on the highways and byways? You can try this exercise with anything that matters to you or even disturbs you. Watch how you start to recognize either of them even more. So, do not take the power of your mind lightly. Ernest Holmes puts it this way: man thinks and supposes that he lets go of those thoughts, that he is finished with them. But such is not the case, for thought becomes subjectified in mind like a seed planted in the soil. And unless neutralized, it stays there and determines the attraction and repulsion in the experience of the one thinking. Whew. Now, let's let that marinate for a second. Secondly, you must understand the power of your imagination. In 1929, the Saturday Evening Post published an interview in which Albert Einstein said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world." Now, if you want to meet someone who uses her imagination like her life depends on it, voila, here am I. I grew up as the only child in my household, and it was my imagination that kept me entertained and never, ever bored. I would dress up like I was a famous entertainer, wrapped in sequin fabrics my mother bought me from Peace Goods Fabric Shop, with a brush in my hand as my mic, and sing for as long as I was allowed. I would use my imagination to write stories, poems, songs, and scripts. Oh, and that is why I love playing with dolls, specifically Barbie dolls. Yes, I love Barbie dolls as a child. I had the house, the cars, all things Barbie. And I would use my imagination to create storylines that held no limits for my characters. And let me not forget how I loved to use my imagination while playing with my cousin. We would pretend to be the Wonder Twins, Wonder Woman, or Almighty Isis. We would even say things like, "What if," insert a celebrity, "walked down the street right now? What would you do?" Or, "What if your house was made of candy? What kind would it be? What would you eat first?" Or, "What if you had $1,000,000? How would you spend it?" Okay, that flashback was fun. But what about you? Do you remember how you used your imagination when you were a child? Do you still use it, or have you gotten away from it? Take note of these words from Dr. Joseph Murphy. Imagination is one of our most powerful faculties. Disciplined, controlled, and directed imagination is a mighty instrument that plumbs the depths of your subconscious mind, bringing forth new inventions, discoveries, poems, music, and awareness of the riches of the air, the sea, and the earth. Scientists, artists, musicians, physicists, inventors, poets, and writers generally possess highly developed imaginative faculties, which draw forth from the treasure house of their subconscious the riches of the infinite and bless humankind in countless ways. So, it looks like Einstein and I were on the right track. Now, hear me loud and clear. You can use your imagination to create anything that you want. However, along your higher education journey, constructive imagining is what will benefit you the most. Let's say you have submitted a grant proposal and you are feeling a little anxious. Well, let's go back to square one, acknowledging the power of your mind. Remember, every thought accepted as true takes root in your subconscious. So the first thing you want to do is keep your mind in check. Consider this directive from Philippians 4:6. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your request be made known unto God. From there, you might control the narrative playing in your mind by saying, I give thanks for this opportunity, and I accept this grant award, or something grander, greater, or more wonderful for me. For I know that God is moving on my behalf. Now, use your imagination to strengthen your hope. Create a scene about the day that you receive the notice of award, and the funds are dispersed. What was the day like? How were you notified? What were you wearing? Were you with anyone? Did you scream or did you cry? Who did you call or text to share the good news? Be the creator of the vlog entitled, The Day I Was Awarded the Grant, in your mind. Doesn't this sound exciting already? I'm happy for you and don't even know you. But seriously, as an adult, you may have thrown your imagination to the wayside, but it was given to you for a reason. Use your imagination to take your eyes off what you see, what is currently manifested in physical form, and create in your mind what you expect or desire to happen. When you use your imagination, you create mental images, and those images strengthen your hope. Lastly, it is important for you to understand the power of hope. We have learned from the field of neuroscience that hope triggers the release of neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. These feel-good chemicals not only improve your mood, but also boost your brain's plasticity, which enhances your ability to learn, adapt, and overcome obstacles. Let's face it, academia can be demanding and filled with ups and downs. Hope can be the catalyst that drives you forward even in the face of challenges. Studies such as those conducted by Dr. Shane J. Lopez have linked high levels of hope with improved academic achievement, greater resilience, reduced burnout, and a healthier, happier life. Lopez, who's senior scientist at Gallup and author of Making Hope Happen, emphasizes the idea that hope is believing that the future will be better than the present. So, it stands to reason that if you possess hope, you are more likely to inspire your students, contribute creatively to your field, and remain dedicated to lifelong learning. Now, let us put theory into practice with a powerful activity. This activity or exercise comes from the section in the Wire Journal called The Semester. The page is entitled New Semester Hopes. So, grab your journal or open the fillable PDF version on your device. If you don't have your journal yet, get that sheet of paper that I asked you to grab at the beginning of this session. This is the task. Jot down your hopes and desires for the upcoming upcoming semester. But here's the trick. I don't want you to make a list of things that you're hoping for, but I want you to imagine that it's already the end of the semester and you are writing about the wonderful things that occurred based on what you're hoping and desiring. Consider this a creative writing activity, so be very descriptive and leave no stone unturned. Remember, you can create whatever you want with your imagination. All that we've covered today has prepared you for this moment. The timer is set for 7 minutes. Let's write. Wasn't that stimulating? I love to write and use my imagination, so I enjoyed it to the fullest. If you need more time, continue to let your imagination create the semester you desire. Then visit this page in your journal throughout the semester to encourage and strengthen you and strengthen your hope. Desmond Tutu once said, "Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness." So, how would you rate your hope now on a scale from 1 to 10? Did this activity take it up a notch? Let me know in the chat, the comments, or via email at hello@kellyaustin.com. Thank you for joining me today on our first Write With Me activity time. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your colleagues. Please subscribe for more engaging content and hit that notification bell so you won't miss the sessions to come. Finally, if you have not purchased your journal, please go to bit.ly the Wire Journal or download it at bit.ly the Fillable Wire. Discounts apply to those who order 10, 20, or more from Vervante, my publisher. So, get a group of your colleagues together and order your journals. Imagine what it would be like if all of you embarked on deep reflection for a whole semester and discussed what you learned from the experience. Until next time, keep those positive expectations high and make it a mindful semester. Bye-bye.